If you are tired of being stuck, starting over, wondering where to start for 2025, you want to win, then this live is for you. We are talking about motion over protection or motion over perfection and how to keep moving in 2025. Hello. You just heard my baby. I just turned the monitor down. But hello, happy Tuesday to you all. I hope you're doing well. I am Shalina B. I am your go-to mom for family meals and routines, and I also help moms prioritize their self-care, make sure that they prioritize their needs, their ambitions, their goals, their hobbies, while taking care of our homes. We put so much into our homes. We have so many roles and responsibilities that we often put self-care aside, and we are often burnt out, unfulfilled, resentful in some ways because our needs aren't being met. But when we prioritize our self-care, when we find the things that we desire, the things that we enjoy, we are able to show up for ourselves and be present for our families. So that really helps out when we have our routines, when we have our systems in the home, when we are able to manage and steward our home appropriately. So that's a little bit about me. Hello, if you're new, welcome. And if you are back, hello. Thanks for coming back. So again, we're going to talk about how to stay in motion, having motion over perfection. Get this right. Motion over perfection, because it's about staying in motion. It's not about being perfect. We've played the perfectionist role. I am a recovering perfectionist. I still have those tendencies. It's hard to let it go, but we are going to stay in motion. The world is crazy right now in 2025, but that does not mean that we can't reach our goals. That does not mean that we still can't try. We all need to hold on to some type of gleam of hope. We still have goals. We still have things that we want to achieve and accomplish, and we can do that. So I just want to provide a couple tools to first help you to find your word for 2025 if you haven't found it. But if you have found your word, how to turn that word into some actionable steps, actionable steps so you can reach your goal. So, so let's dive right in. So a word of the year, resolutions, all those things can be really good when you have some actionable steps behind it. Otherwise it's just a word, it's just trendy, and it'll fall flat. But you want to be able to have something that matters to you, that's meaningful, throughout your year, not something that, again, is just trendy. So you want to choose a word that is connected to you. And the word that I chose for this year is motion. And the way that the word motion came into play, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and, we have both been experiencing our highs and lows in our careers. And I was like, I'm tired of starting over. I'll get to a point where, I'll be doing really good. Everything's going well. And then something will happen. And then I feel like I have to start over. I'm back to the drawing board. And I was getting so frustrated because I was going well. Everything was going so well. But I'm like, why can't I get ahead? Why can't I move beyond this particular point? So I was getting very discouraged and frustrated, and I want to give up. But the thing is, we are not going to give up. We are not going to give up. We're going to pivot. We're going to change. We're going to continue to move forward, but we're not going to give up. But it can make you feel like giving up when you've tried things, you try to push forward, you had a really good run, and then you fall flat. So after us talking, we were like, you know what, we're going to get in motion and stay in motion. I was like, yeah, we are. And over time, I like to give myself time to sit with the word. And if it keeps coming up, if it keeps resonating, then that might mean something. So if a word is coming up for you, if a phrase is coming up for you, write it down. It's important to capture that because you never know what God is trying to say to you, what he's trying to speak to you and over your life. I've been keeping these mirror affirmations, which I just have a little sticky note. If I think of something that God has placed on my heart, or I hear something that has just touch me in a way where it's very motivating, very affirming, I write it down. So, or if it's a scripture. So motion was that word for me. It just kept coming up, and I'm like, you know what? I need to stay in motion. I want to be in motion because I have let so many things over the past couple of years stop me. This year I am approaching year 5 of my content creation influencing journey. And I feel like I should be farther along, but I also realize that I haven't been super consistent. I would start and then I fall off, and I start again and I fall off. So this is me trying again, because you want to keep trying. If you don't succeed, try again. However, I'm trying to do some things different, because the definition of insanity, you do the same thing, expect different results. So we got to try something different. So I want to approach the word with a strategy, with more, some SMART goals, if you will. Set some goals and set a strategy to actually achieve the things that I wish to achieve this year. So motion just really stuck out with me, and the definition of motion. So I think also when you find your word, look it up, see if it resonates with you. And when I looked it up, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. So the definition of motion is the action or process of moving or being moved. And I was like, yeah. And I'm always going to take it in a spiritual way. So I'm like, sometimes even when we feel stuck and stagnant, God will sometimes move us to the next post, or move us to where we need to be. Sometimes whoever is in your accountability corner may help move you to the next post, because maybe you don't want to do it, but you know that you need to. You know that you have a goal to do the thing. So your accountability partner, whoever your support system is in your corner, may move you to that next post. And then in the same area of being in motion, motion requires discipline over motivation. Sometimes we are not motivated. Sometimes motivation is a feeling, and sometimes we don't have the feeling to do something. I am pretty tired today, and I've been tired for the past couple of days because I had one of my kids were in the hospital not too long ago, and hospital sleep is not great at all. So I'm running on fumes, but I knew that I have to stay in motion. Of course, I have to take care of myself. Of course, I have to get through my rest when I can, but I also have a goal and a promise to myself to show up and to do the things that I desire this year. And the only way that I'm going to get this done is if I have strategy, is if I set a plan for the things that I wish to do, because life is going to life and things are going to happen. And if that's going to knock you off your square every time, you're never going to advance. And that's been me. And that's why I can talk about it, because I have not planned in the past. I've just kind of been winging it, and in my career, or winging it in my business life, and just expecting things to change, and they weren't. So I'm trying to take a chapter out of my home management book, where I plan for my household, where I meal plan, we do our routines and everything, and apply that to my business so I can get my business on track. So you have that. So with along the lines of motion, I need that determination to succeed. I want to show up for myself, and to show up for myself and to continue that goal, I need that consistency, and I have to have that repetition. So we'll talk a little bit about how, again, to find your word and to how to put that action to your word. So here are just a couple things for how you can find your word. Again, I already said, whatever resonates with you, whatever you hear, whatever you're feeling, whatever keeps coming up, pay attention to that. Write it down. Keep it close to you. Pray over it. Maybe God is trying to tell you. Maybe it's in the scripture. We never know where it's coming from, but keep that to you. Maybe it's not a word. Maybe it's a phrase. Maybe it's a scripture. Whatever it is, it can be like your guiding light for your year, for 2025. So whatever it is, hold that to you. And also, I would say first, start with the mindset. Our minds are the most powerful thing. They can make or break us. They can tell us that we're doing a great job, but they can tell us that we're not. So really start with the mind. Start speaking positive to yourself. Start disrupting those negative thoughts, unlearning those things that have been placed on you, praying over the things that just aren't you, or things that you don't want to be you anymore. You can pray to remove that. It takes time, but having the mindset and the will to say, I'm going to make it, I'm going to do this, makes a world of a difference, because I have a tendency of getting in my feelings, especially if I'm tired and I don't want to show up. The enemy will surely come and tell me all the things that I'm not. And I will start believing them. But even those times are when you need to lean on the Holy Spirit, when you need to lean on your scriptures and the things, your armor, to really combat the enemy and the negative things that they're saying. Because if you do have a goal to do all these things in 2025, and then you have the enemy in your ear, you're not going to accomplish them. You're not going to succeed because you're letting the enemy overpower your mind. So start with the mindset. Stay on God's path, stay on those scriptures, stay on those prayers, all the things that, just keep that mind strong. Another thing that keeps my mind strong is my Peloton. I've been doing my Peloton workouts, pretty consistently. So that is really strengthening my mind and making sure that I don't waver, that I stay strong, and just moving your body. Even if you do a small walk every day, stretching, breathing exercises, do something that wakes your body up, that gets your body moving, because it gets your mind moving. And when your mind is moving, you're able to get that mind strong. You're able to stay focused, and you're able to get the thing done. Because if we went off on vibes every day, I don't know how much we would achieve, because vibes are cool, but vibes may not help you reach your goal, or vibes aren't a strategy to really be able to reach your goal. So moving your body really helps that mind as well. Fasting is another way to strengthen that mindset. If you don't know your word, but you know that you need to hear from God, do a fast. You can do a fast as little as 24 to 48 hours, giving up one thing that you really desire. Maybe that's the internet. Maybe it's one of your favorite foods. Maybe it's meat, whatever it is that you feel will distract you from hearing from God. Give that up for a day or two and really pray and ask and expect what you want from God. I want to hear from you, God. I need some vision. I want some clarity. I want some direction for X, Y, and Z. And if you are leaning into that, if you are into your word, into your scriptures, into your prayer, and you've cleared out all of those distractions, you will hear from him and he will give you direction. It happens every time. So I recommend, it could be an ongoing thing to fast, because God will show up every single time. So fasting, I definitely recommend it. And then, you want to visualize. You want to make a visualizing what you desire makes it plain. It puts it on paper, puts it in your mind. So again, you have that path that you know where you're going. Because where are you going if you don't have vision? So I tend to like to be a visionary for my life, for my career, for my family. And I like to see, where are we going? What is the path that we are going? So once I can set a vision, once I see what I want through that vision, and then I pray over that, and I say, if it's your will, God, let this vision be so. But I pray over it and I ask him to guide my path. But you want to have a vision, just like people do vision boards at the beginning of the year. If you do a vision board, just be intentional about that vision board. Be intentional about the things that you put on that vision board. What do they mean to you? What do they mean to your overall life? How are they going to aid in you reaching your goals for 2025 or beyond? Not just putting random things on there. And I feel like I haven't done a vision board in a while, because I didn't really understand the concept at first, and then I kind of put random stuff on there. So I had to really go back to the drawing board and figure out what is going to work for me. And for now, a word of the year really works for me. And it's a way to be very intentional about your year. It's a way to really focus on that word and that meaning. Like I said, for motion, I have that spiritual aspect of motion. I have that physical aspect of motion. So it comes together for me in all the ways that I function. So I'm able to continue on and move based on that word. So visualize, map out the vision and your desires, write them down, write them in a journal, right? God, these are my desires for 2025. These are the things that I would like to see. These are the things that I would like to happen. This is the amount of money I want to make. Write out your number. I had a coach that say, write your scary number. So what is a number that you want? Nothing is too small. So write the number that you want to make this year. So that way you have it, it's plain, it's written down, and then you can work toward the strategy to achieve that vision that you wrote down. Another thing is surround yourself with people that inspire you, that hold you accountable, and that will motivate you on this journey. If you're around negative Nathans and Nancys, if you're around people that aren't in that place where they want to move forward or they want to be in motion, or they're good where they're at, that's fine. But you want people that can motivate you and empower you and keep you accountable as you are achieving your goals, because you're going to be right there with them if you are surrounding yourself with people that aren't on that level. And there's nothing wrong with them. You don't have to leave them behind. But in this season, if it's places you got to go, you got to go to them. You can say, hey, sis, bro, I love you, but I gotta move. So you want to make sure that you look at your circles, see what your circles are doing. Are they motivating you? Are they empowering you? Is it full of gossip? Is it full of stuff that's tearing you down? Is it nothing that's motivating you to get stuff done? Really be mindful of that. And of course, we all love our good trash TV and just, stuff in life. But when you got your goals, you really have to limit those things. You have to put boundaries around those things that take up your time. Mindless scrolling for me is phone games. I love a good phone game, and that is my distraction. That is one of the things that I've given up on a fast before, because when I don't want to do the work that I'm supposed to be doing, I'm going to do a phone game. And that was me. All transparency, that was me last night when I was supposed to be working on my presentation that I did at 8 a.m. this morning. I gave myself breaks in between the presentation, and I started to play phone games, but I try to limit, like, okay, just play one round, don't keep going, because I'll keep going, and then that'll be the next 30 minutes or so that I'm playing the game. So be mindful of who you're around. Be mindful of the things that are distracting you, potentially distracting you from your goals, because those things will definitely hinder you, and you won't, and they can hinder you from really reaching that goal. Another thing is trust your intuition. If you feel that the word or the direction you're going in is the path, is God's will, you feel it, trust that it is the path. Don't second guess it, because you're going to spend a lot of time going back and forth second guessing if this is what it's supposed to be. So if you got that word, if you know that it's a go, then do it. Don't go back and forth. And I'm talking to myself too, because I feel like I've gone back and forth. Like, God, I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this. Am I supposed to be here? Where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? And I've wasted a lot of time going back to the drawing board, starting over, because I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I'm a multifaceted person. I like to do all the things, but I'm like, God, where are you leading me? Where is the direction that you have me to go? And me fasting gave me a clear direction and a clear path. And he said, just do these things that I asked you. I gave you a couple clear steps, and this is where I want you to be. So trust God, trust your intuition, and go with that. And then you want to build those good habits and routines, because you aren't going to be able to move forward with your word and the goals for the year if you don't have good habits and routines. Make sure that if you have bad habits, if you have like those distractions and things, that you start to eliminate them. You start to pull them back and you fill them with good habits. Maybe you put your phone down at a certain time. I think there's something on iPhones where you can cut the apps off at a certain time. So maybe you do that, or maybe you fill your time with a book or a workout, or maybe you have a certain time to plan or like review your goals every day. But you just want to create those habits, create those same things, those routines every day. So that's something you can stick to. You want to make them simple. You want to make them easy to attain. You don't want to overload yourself with things every day, because you won't be able to achieve them. But if you have a routine that is pretty manageable, you have habits that are manageable, that you can build upon them, do that, and they'll help you toward your word. So those are just a couple things of how to find your word. If you do have your word, put it in the chat below. I would love to know, what is your word for 2025? What word are you thinking about just from what I've said so far? If anything has come to mind, let me know. I would love to know what your word is so far this year, or what you've done so far with the word, how the word is spoken to you. Let me know. All right, so now we're going to talk about breaking your word down into strategy. So again, we're not going off of vibes. We have to strategize. And in a lot of worlds, I'll say the business world, but in a lot of corporate worlds, a lot of organizational worlds, we use like a quarterly type of calendar. So we think of the year in quarters, and maybe at home too. Probably a lot of people use it. So you think of things in quarters. You have 4 quarters. So you have January through March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So break it up in quarters. So what do you want to get done each quarter? So if motion is my word for the year, I am going to think about 3 to 5 goals that I want to achieve that will keep me in motion for the year. So whether it's I want to have this kind of brand deal and I want to make this type of money, I want to start this type of blog and I wanted to have this many subscribers by this particular time. I want to build my Instagram community to this amount and have a masterclass or a course or a program at this particular point. So you want to have those actual goals, and you want to attach that strategy to them. So if I have 4 quarters in a year, that could be 4 goals. You could have 3, you could have 4. Just say you have 4, 1 for each. So that's 3 months in each of those quarters to plan, to prepare. And then you want to use the SMART goals. And I feel like SMART goals are really good in all situations, but especially if you have things you want to achieve, make sure that you are you're using SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound for your goals. So again, if I want to grow my Instagram following by, let's just say for 2025, I want to grow it to 10K by 2025. So I have to break that up by quarters. So how many followers do I want by the first 3 months and the next 3 months? And how do I plan to do it? How am I going to show up every day to do that? So for me, my goal has been, the first habit that I'm building is to show up in my stories. That was my way to ease in, because I knew where my life was right now. I can't do a whole bunch of editing and videos, because to have reels, you got to cut them up. They have to be entertaining. And I just didn't have that time. And I also didn't have a lot of time to do long form videos for YouTube, even though that is the future and that is where we need to be. Long form is the way. So if you don't have a blog, it's called evergreen content. If you don't have a blog, you don't have YouTube, a podcast, those are evergreen, because these platforms are going away. They're coming back and they're playing with our emotions. So we want to have places where we can house people and we can continue our content and continue building our community. So stories was my way to be a little more authentic, show up, have more behind the scenes everyday life, because there's something called a like, know, and trust factor. We can show up in our content, but sometimes we don't always show up fully as ourselves based on what the content is. So I figured through my stories, you'll see day to day, behind the scenes, and you'll get the real and raw me. And I knew that this was attainable to be able to show up in my stories, because I'm not editing anything. It's a 60-second clip that I can come in, talk about something, share something, and then move on and so forth. So there's a strategy around that too, because you want to make sure you're showing up, you're making sure you're engaging, and you want to add value. So I know that was my entry into how I plan to build my following. The next phase of that, which is the next habit that I'm building onto that, is to go live. So I've been going live once a week. Again, this is attainable for me because I don't have to edit it. I go live after I'm done. I have the video, and then I'm able to save the video, post it on YouTube. So that becomes a long form content. So now I have 2 platforms that I'm posting on. That's 2 platforms that I can gain more followers from. And then continue on, trying to build my community. And then I make shorts from that as well. There's a lot of platforms that can take your long form videos and make shorts and reels from that. So again, no editing for me. The most I have to do is my captions, and, just a little description of what it is. And from there, that's where I'm at right now. I also have a newsletter, so I will repurpose those things in the newsletter so people can also view the lives and the things that I do on my Instagram, so they can follow me there. But those are my habits and my SMART goals, the way that I am measuring to get my following, to make sure that I reach that particular goal. But I'm starting very slow. We're only the second month of the year. So most of the time by this point, we're burnt out. In January, we go really hard. You know how everybody is in the gym. You're going really hard in the beginning of January, and then come February, we're burnt out. But I don't feel burnt out because I am spreading things out, and I'm going at my pace, and I'm going at my consistency. So somebody else's consistency may be to post every day, on their platform. But for me, being in my stories, making sure that I'm engaging and adding value throughout the week, making sure I'm going live about a topic that I'm also adding value, and then making sure that I'm connecting with my newsletter once a month is the way that I'm able to show up. So I define the goal. I want to expand my community and my followers. I'm making it measurable. I'm able to build those habits. I'm able to, maintain and not fall off when things go wrong, when things go awry, when a kid is sick. It's achievable. Again, it's achievable and attainable. It's relevant. So the relevant is consider why you're setting the goal and how it fits into your overall objectives. This is all going to continue to build my community. It's going to build the trust within my community. It's going to show my authenticity. It's going to show my expertise. And then continue to grow ultimately. Set a deadline, a realistic time frame. So say by the end of the year, 10K may or may not be my goal. We're just going to say that that's my goal. I would love to have more than that, but I'm going off of the level of energy and input that I'm going to put into this. So based on what I'm doing, I feel like that is more manageable, but it might be more. We shall see at the end of 2025 what it is. So with your word, make it a strategy. So that was just a little bit of an example of how you can use your word. You can parse it out throughout your year in quarters and make it attainable. You can also stack habits to reach that goal. So habit stacking is taking an existing habit and then adding a new one to that. So I work out on my Peloton every day. So that's a habit that's already existing. What's another one? What would be one that I'm adding? My kids take a nap every day. So my habit is to work. I typically work during this time anyway. So I figured, I can go live right now while they're working. So that was a way for me to stack on the consistent habit of going live every week, because I know they have a nap time. One of my kids are actually up right now. I can see them. I feel like he's not feeling good. So I feel like something's going through this house, y'all. So I pray that they stay well. But I knew that this is their nap time, so I'm able to come on and add that habit. So it's not something extra that I'm adding anywhere else. It's already on top of the habit that I'm already doing and I'm making time for. So you want to pair it with another habit versus trying to create a new habit with time that you may not even have. So set goals, create habits. You can check in regularly as well. That's that measurable piece. How are you measuring that you are reaching your goal? How are you, what is your measurement? What are your benchmarks to show that you are reaching your goal? So for me, I'm being more consistent. I'm connecting with more people. I'm slowly getting more followers. It might be only a couple a day or every other day or so, but it's a consistent flow of people that are following me. So even though it's one or two, that's more than what I had before. So you want to have something that you can check in, that you can measure it. And then you can have that consistency. I told myself that I will go live every Monday typically, but today's Tuesday because I had a presentation this morning, and yesterday I was preparing for that. Also getting off of the weekend with my son being in the hospital. So pivot is okay. Change is okay, but you want to make sure that you are continuing to push forward. You're continuing to reach those goals. And that's why you are setting realistic and attainable goals, because life is going to life. Life is going to do what it does. But if you have a goal and you want to get something done, then regardless of what's going on, you still going to want to achieve that. You might change your day. You might push it out a little bit, but you're not going to quit. You're not going to give up. You're still going to do it. So that brings us into that segue of staying in motion through hard times. How do we push forward when times are hard, when we don't feel like doing it. Like I said, I'm pretty exhausted, but I knew this. The way that the way my strategy is with me building the community, I knew that I still had to show up with this live. So I had a presentation this morning. I prepared for that, so I just pushed my live back one day, but I made sure that I promoted it on my stories. I added a reminder. I prepared ahead for it. And now I have the live. So, cause like the thing I said with the strategy, I have to, save the live and add it to YouTube and add all those other things to it. So it keeps me, on schedule, even though I'm a day behind, because I said to myself earlier, like, I would love to just go to sleep. They're taking a nap. I should take a nap. But I'm like, but then I'm not going to be able to reach my goals if I don't do the thing. But because I am strategizing and doing what I'm doing now, I can rest later. The meal planning, the meals is going to be taken care of. The house will be clean in the evening, and I can go to bed because I don't have to worry about working or fitting something else into my time, because I'm using my time wisely. So when things happen, though, like I said, when things come up. So Elijah got sick last Wednesday. He was in the hospital until that evening. He was home Thursday, Friday, still not feeling well. Friday, we went to the hospital. Saturday evening, we got home. He still wasn't feeling good Sunday. He stayed home from school Monday. And today he's better and he's back in school. So it was pretty packed, pretty busy. But I knew that I have these things that I want to do. I want to show up. So what can I do in these moments of crisis? How can I still show up for myself? How can I still reach my particular goals? Well, you want to do little things here and there. Like I said, maybe you have to pivot your day. I didn't work on my presentation at all this weekend. I should have, but at the hospital, that's not something I wanted to do. But I knew, like, okay, well, I'm not going to work on it Sunday, but I'll work on it or Saturday, but I'll work on it a little bit Sunday and a little bit Monday, and I'm probably going to be up late. So I planned for it, like, okay, I know this is what it's going to be. So me and hubby talked about it, and he was like, I got the kids. You just go ahead and work. Do what you need to do. I got you. So having that thought partner, having that accountability partner to help in those moments. So if you have a partner and you need to get something done, make sure that you let them know what you desire and what your goals are, so they can hold you accountable, and they can fill in the gap. They can stand in the gap when you need to go handle something, when you need to get something done. So pivot and doing small things here and there. When I wasn't working on my presentation, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about, okay, how do I want it to flow? What is my purpose and my overall goal? What am I trying to convey to this audience? And then from there, I just would write it out in my notes section. I would write out my notes because I knew I couldn't get to the actual presentation, but I could do small things. I can do small steps. So do small things. Be okay with the pivot. Give yourself grace in the pivot. I could have really beat myself up about not getting it done when I did. And I did a little bit last night because I was very tired and I got in my feelings. But I stopped, I took a break, and then I got back to it. I think I slept for about an hour and a half. And that's real that's real risky to try to go. I went to sleep from like 2 to 3:30 in the morning, because I've done that when I was younger and I slept through the night, but I actually only slept for that amount of time. I got up and I was able to finish the presentation and go back to sleep. So pivot, do little small things here and there, and definitely give yourself grace. So if you do happen to fall off, take a moment, be upset, it's cool, but get right back on it. That was me on Friday night, because I have been doing the 100-day Peloton challenge. I had made every day, but when he got into the hospital that Friday and we finally got into our room and we were admitted for the night, I told myself, okay, you got to do something on Peloton. You got to do it. And I kept saying it, and it was 12:08 a.m. the next day, and I was on the phone with my husband, and he was like, oh man, you missed your streak. And I was torn up about it, because I'm like, I just wanted to get my 100 days. I just wanted to do it. But like I said, like the title, motion over perfection. It's not about being perfection. It's about staying in motion. So even though I missed one day, I ended up doing meditations both of those days, because I wasn't getting on no hospital floor to do no workout. So I did meditations, but when we got home that Saturday evening, I got right back on that Peloton. I built that habit. I built that habit of the Peloton. So I got right to a 20-minute workout, and have continued to push myself with that particular habit. So small actions, give yourself grace through the process, be okay with a little bit of pivot, but definitely keep going, but do what you can, and lean to those routines. So I'm all about routines. Know what works. So we have set laundry days, and my laundry day is today. It was yesterday and today, and I went upstairs before the kids went to sleep. I sorted my laundry so that way when I go up there to get them up from the nap, I can start a load, and then I can get into that process. I have to sort them. If I don't sort my laundry, it won't get done, because that is the biggest roadblock for me with laundry, is sorting it, because I have so many piles. I have so many different piles, and most of my clothes I hang up. So it takes me a while to sort them. And I could get a sorter, like a laundry sorter, but I'm not about to spend no money right now to get a laundry sorter. So I'll just continue to sort them, because I know that is a thing for me anyway. So it works. So having that, and we put it in our phones, so we know what days is laundry. So coming off of a crazy weekend, I don't have to think about it. I know, okay, well, this is my laundry day. This is the kids' laundry day. I can get right to it. So it's less that you have to think about. So in moments of challenge and hard time, when you want to stay in motion, having those routines work. I didn't meal plan this week, but I had meals that are go-to meals. So you always want to have a couple of those go-to meals, or maybe those comfort meals that you don't have to plan for. You just know that you're going to have the ingredients, and you know that it's going to work. It's going to hit every time. And that's what I did yesterday. And I said today that I would meal plan for the rest of the week. I would see what we have, and we're going to make some meals from there. And now I'm feeling like a little bit of more normalcy, because my day is more in line with how it typically has been versus when my kids have been home and they've been sick. So like I said, pivot, but keep on going. So I think, let's see, I guess the other tips for building habits, if you have not seen my habit formation video, I have a video that I talk about habit formation. So check that out. It talks about how to cue behavior, reward. It's 4 steps. It's 4 steps to habit formation. So check out that video. I think that video may be the one before this one or not, but just check it out. So about habit formation, and then habit stacking is the other thing. Stacking existing habit with a new habit. So those are just good tools and techniques to build when you want to try new things, when you're trying to trying to accomplish things, trying to reach new heights. We all sometimes we want to reach our goals, but we're not expanding our territory. We're not allowing ourselves to expand. So for me, getting on that Peloton and listening to them tell me, like, mind over matter, keep going, push yourself, it is expanding my mind to tell me that you can do more than you think you can do. So even though your child was in a hospital and you are dog tired because you have not rested, you've been working on this presentation that you had this morning, you still need to go live because your everyday work can't suffer. So you still got to show up and do it. But am I tired? Yes. And am I going to rest after this? Yes, I am. but you can definitely keep going with those habits. So start small, pray about it, find your word, get those habits, track your progress, and keep on going. So that is motion over perfection, how to stay in motion all 2025. I'm going to check the chat really quick to see. Let's see. Ree, you said your word is reset. Yes. And I would love to know how you plan to reset for the year. What does that mean to you? What do you plan? What is intentional about reset, and how do you plan to use it? And then Monica said realistic goals. Yes, we have to set realistic goals, because otherwise they aren't achievable, and we're just going to have to go back to the drawing board, back to square one every time when we don't set achievable goals. And then reset, my laundry days start on Thursday or Friday, and that's okay to have multiple days. I have my husband we have together, I have 3 days. He has 1 day because it doesn't take him long. Our children the twins have 2 days, and then the littles have 1 day because their laundry is the easiest. But I have 3 days because sometimes I may sort it on the first day, And then I may do one load and hang that up, and then I may not get to the next one the next day. And then the third day I may fold it up because we share baskets. I think we have 3 baskets between the 6 of us. So I don't want to hog the basket. So I think that motivates me to get the clothes folded up, because I only have maybe 1 or 2 fold loads anyway, besides the stuff that I hang up. And I'm typically the only one that hangs up, has hang up loads in my laundry. So it helps a lot. So I don't have to fold up a lot of laundry. But having those days works for me. So tailor it, customize it to you. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But when you are doing cleaning routines and meal planning routines and stuff, make sure that it works and it fits in your life. So if you need 3 days to get something done like me, that's okay. But the thing is, you're going to get it done, and it's going to be, and you're going to feel good about it. You're not going to go into your weekend or your week, whenever the days are, doing the things that was supposed to be done on the day that they were supposed to be done. So I think that's it. So I thank you all for joining me today. I hope something was said that resonated with you, with your word. If you are catching the replay, I would love for you to comment what your word is in the comment or chat box. Continue to chat with me. Let me know how things are going. If you need me to hold you accountable for your word of the year, I will be happy to. So you can add that strategy and those SMART goals to your word and accomplish your goals for 2025. I can't wait to see the great things that you all do. Thank you for being a part of this community. Welcome to this community if you are new. And I'll catch you next week. It's probably going to be Monday. Mondays at 2 or 2:30 is the days that I'm planning. But if things get a little weird on the weekend, it would be Tuesday, but more than likely it will be Monday. So I'll catch y'all next week on the next live. Have a great rest of your day.